Welcome to Hogtown. Nestled in the heart of the Lake George Wilderness area, Hogtown offers a unique, family-friendly getaway like no other. Come explore our serenely beautiful hiking trails, perfect for a day of adventure. Hike up the scenic Daisy clearing, or take the kids out for some equine fun. And most importantly, enjoy our well-maintained camping sites, free of charge. Just be sure to watch out for... But don't worry about that. All we ask for is a small sacrifice. So pack your bags and head on down to Hogtown today. The Department of Wildlife Conservation is not responsible for any injuries, including decapitation, loss of limbs, hemorrhaging, or even death. Please do not provoke the Sasquatch, and if you find yourself in a difficult situation, call 1-800-FIND-DING. That's 1-800-FIND-DING. We'll be waiting.
I'd like to just sit somewhere though for a little while and just quiet.
That's what I wanted to do at Inman Pond.
We just got to the pond. It's about a mile in.
I think that's a strange one.
But you would admit, Sue, it's eerily quiet in here, isn't it?
There's prints all over it.
Ain't sound a fucking bird of any kind. Nothing, no?
I know, it's quiet.
Because I was thinking at first it broke and somehow
Yeah, kind of arched
down
itself.
and hit that top of that tree and pulled it over, but
My knee is like an inch in the ground right now, so if something was 800 pounds, that would sink that far.
Sasquatch, a legendary phenomenon that has captivated the human imagination for centuries. From the tales told by Native American tribes, to the icy legends of the Yeti in the Himalayas, and the mysterious Orang Pendek lurking in the jungles of Southeast Asia. The allure of Bigfoot spans cultures and continents. As the narrative evolved, Bigfoot transformed into a powerful symbol in pop culture, with research on sightings gaining momentum. Some enthusiasts believe that Sasquatch is a tangible, flesh and blood creature, while others reason its possible paranormal or extraterrestrial origins. Recently, our team ventured into the heart of Hogtown, a growing hotspot for Bigfoot researchers, including the dedicated duo of Sue and Brian Gosselin. In our last episode, we embarked on a grueling trek, hoping to uncover evidence while sharing stories from the field. As the day drew to a close and packing it in was upon us, something remarkable caught our attention. A tree twisted unnaturally, bent at a 90-degree angle, towering 8 to 10 feet above the ground. Investigating further, we found no clear natural explanation for it, and just a short distance away was an intriguing 18-inch imprint in the ground. Could it be a Sasquatch footprint? We decided to cast it, but its true nature remains an open question. We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. As we transition into late fall, our team prepares for one last expedition before winter envelops Hogtown. Eager to explore areas we previously overlooked. But first, let's listen to a gripping encounter that unfolded on the Inman Pond Trail. In the early 2000s, Sue and Brian met a remarkable individual named John Whitesell through their shared passion for Sasquatch research. A talented musician and contractor who worked with organizations like NASA, John was an avid outdoorsman who cherished the beauty of the Adirondacks. Tragically, he contracted cancer and passed away in his 40s. In honor of his legacy, it's our duty to share his story and the profound impact he had on those around him. One day, John and his wife set out for a hike to Inman Pond, basking in the warm June sunshine. The air was crisp and refreshing beneath the shade of towering trees, a perfect day for nature photography, which was a shared passion of theirs. As they wandered off the beaten path to capture pictures of a nearby brook, a sudden, bellowing vocalization echoed throughout the woods. Confused, they speculated whether it was a moose or perhaps a bear. Intrigued, but wary, they paused to listen. Then came another powerful scream, reverberating through the forest. In that instant, the hairs on the back of their necks stood on end. Realizing the gravity of the situation, they quickly navigated through a ravine and back onto the trail. The unnerving calls followed closely behind. John, who never caught a glimpse of the creature, sensed its presence as it shook trees in the distance. Understanding that panic would only escalate the danger, he and his wife maintained a brisk pace, knowing that they needed to return safely. The vocalizations continued to stalk them, mirroring their movements as though the creature was fiercely defending its territory. John's wife vowed never to set foot in the woods again, while John, despite being a seasoned outdoorsman, was deeply shaken by the experience. Motivated by curiosity, he later reached out to the BFRO and joined a Sasquatch research team. Today, we retrace John and his wife's steps along that very trail, determined to uncover what they encountered. Join us as we investigate further, and stay tuned to see what we discover.
All this way having something screaming and bellowing at you.
No, I can't.
His wife, whoever came back with after that, she was never
Don't blame her.
Yeah, it would flip me out too.
Yeah.
They haven't been back here, Sue, since then?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. He didn't go out in the woods at all anymore. And then he passed away. He was young.
Young guy?
Yeah, he died. In his 40s when he died.
Jesus.
Yeah, really sad. So he went back out in the woods, but it took him a little while, and then he started going back out, and then he was part of the group. So obviously, the first thing I ever did was to come in here with him and two other people from our team. Back then I had my camcorder, which is the same as the one that we have.
Right.
The high 8, the towing one, and videotaped him out here where we had the experience with him telling the story. That was the first thing I ever did with a group. And it was so impactful to be able to be, in the spot and watch him tell it.
Right.
It was really cool. And do you think I could find that tape? No. Lost it or taped over it accidentally, don't know, but I've never been able to find it.
It's got to be here somewhere.
How you doing, partner? You all right?
Still sucking air.
Next to us.
Means you're alive.
The walkout's going to be easy compared to what it looks coming
it's all
in. That's
downhill.
for sure. We're going to give it another 10 minutes. We haven't found it. We're getting the fuck out of here.
I'd like to just sit somewhere though for a little while and
Yeah,
just quiet.
that's what I wanted to do at Inman Pond.
I was gonna say me and Cody could walk up ahead and radio you guys if it's not far, but
We can sit and film.
If you yelled,
if
you yelled, we'd be able to hear you.
yeah,
I
probably.
would stay here. I have safety.
Safety in numbers.
Betty. I have Betty on my hip. Got Big Betty. We're safe. We're good.
I'm gonna try and do a quick thermal scan, Kayla. Try and turn this down a little bit. What's nice, guys, is I got a chance to figure out how to adjust contrast, which makes stuff stand out so much better in the footage. This thing is so accurate now. Wow. But you would admit, Sue, it's eerily quiet in here, isn't it?
It's very quiet. Usually you would hear a squirrel scampering around or something, or an occasional bird.
I heard some birds.
I was going to say, has
down,
anybody
but...
heard a bird in a while?
Good God.
I think it's right here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now you can see opening. Yeah.
Yeah, this is it.
Hey. Me either. It's not too much further up. You guys are gonna come to a... No, that's not that far. But there's a Y after a couple of down trees. You're just gonna hang left.
You guys want to go down?
Yeah, I don't care.
And so what?
We rested here a while. I caught my breath and stuff. Is it me or is that tree supposed to be that way?
The top of that one?
Yeah.
But, no, Dad, you're looking at a different tree.
No, honey, I'm looking at
Sue's
this one.
looking at this one. That's what I meant.
There's another one.
Oh, I thought this was the one you were looking
No,
at.
there's another one right here.
I saw quite a few of them on our way. I saw some that went like all the way around.
Take some footage of these, Kayla.
Yeah. Let me just walk up and see this one, because this one looks like this tree broke and came down on the top of this tree. But where's the bottom of that?
That's a good question. Why are they all bent the same direction?
See, like I said,
Well, that one actually looks like it bends this way, and this one
But
bends.
it looks like something locked it between those two trees over there.
Well, it's kind of the same thing on this one.
Yeah.
A little
That
bit.
sounded like a raven.
Yeah.
I think that's a strange one. I don't get too, I think I've told you before, I don't get too excited because so many natural things in the woods.
Oh, I know. That twist that we found was...
And just like it was cut off of that, the top.
Gotcha.
Because I was thinking at first it broke and somehow
Yeah, kind of
came
arched
down
itself.
and hit that top of that tree and pulled it over, but I don't know what it would have come from.
Alright, I'm gonna go find Brian.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go search for Brian. He's been gone.
You know, and I would have loved to.
So we just got to the pond. It's about a mile in. Real quiet day today. Barely even any birds or anything. It rained yesterday, so seems like a nice, quiet, cooler day. Rounding its way up to about 40 degrees right now. The rest of the crew's sitting at the pond right now, just sitting around seeing if they could hear anything. None of us have ever been up to this area before, so we wanted to check it out. Right in the same vicinity about where we found that track. Not too far, same neck of the woods. Brian walked off on his own, and it's been a while, so I'm gonna go check up on him. I'm sure he's fine, but Brian is like me. He likes to just kind of be alone sometimes in the woods. Helps you be a little bit more in tune with things, hear things better, see things. So we're gonna catch up with him here and see if we can find him. It'd be kind of a hard day to find tracks for anything like that, just because all the leaves fell recently. so not a whole lot you'd be able to really see. Your best bet would probably be near riverbanks or the edge of a pond. There he is. Hello.
Fucking beautiful back there, man.
Yeah?
Oh, fuck. They were on the right trail, I hope.
What's that?
I hope they're on the right trail.
Yeah, no, we caught
Well,
up
the
with
pond
them.
is just over there. Just over here, it goes down. Fucking opens up really big.
Does it?
You've got the rock shoal over there. It's all hemlock. And up the very end, it's marshy. A big old fucking hardwood thing. It comes right down to the funnel. It comes right down to the water. Then it's all hemlock. I don't know how far. I'm not going any farther that way, but I wanted to see the whole pond.
Yeah.
I don't know if it goes around the corner. See, these kind of walking, I can go all day.
Yep. Wow.
Ain't a sound or a fucking bird of any kind, nothing, you know?
I know, it's quiet.
And it's like that spot over here where that hardwood grove comes down, meets the water on the other end. You bet your ass a fucking deer use that to come down and get a drink.
Oh, yeah. It is dead quiet.
That's all I've heard so far is ravens and a crow.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Right?
I said I don't know how I feel about that. It's ominous.
Oh, ravens are supposed to be good luck.
No, yeah, they are. But they are scavengers, so I feel like they mostly eat dead animals.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if this goes back in a little bit or not, but I don't think so.
I feel like this might be the end. I don't know where that other trail went. Probably. It looks like
Black Point. Oh, that their trail. It's got to join another trail somewhere.
I imagine.
I'll head back down to the boys.
My knees are gonna blow up.
Yeah. Don't fall in the water.
Try not to again, like we did last time.
See if you can make it without getting wet today.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I feel like I heard something off that way, but I don't know if it was Joey doing another call or.
Yeah, but you would have
It
heard
would have
it
been
that.
that way, but I thought I heard something over here.
It's a possibility.
All right, so do we stop at the other spot, or do we go back to the car and, like, when we're heading out, do you want to?
We could check out the riverbank real quick. Yeah.
We can walk that brook down to the road. That goes down to the road, right?
We made it.
I used to work with a guy come northern zone. He packed a bag and he went someplace in the Adirondacks. He didn't never come out till he got a deer. Huh. He lives down there in Kingsbury. I know, I'm taking that ridge over there.
I don't know how much time we're going to spend here, so that's my question is, I think if I go out on that point, I can see where that hill. I'm trying to think where I found him. You think it was this way or this way? The brook goes down this way.
Yeah, no. Thought that's what we were doing, following the brook out.
Right, so when you said you're going up the hill, where are you going?
On that ridge. And
Just the other side.
I'm going to keep the ridge on my right and walk the brook.
Joe, if you need to sit for a bit and rest, you do that. We'll just see if we can find the right spot.
Okay.
Huh. Something was walking through here. Guys, check this out. Hey, yo. Sue, come here. There's prints all over. Or, they look like prints.
That's some big ass feet too.
But, like, they're not boots. Guys, come here. There's a lot of them. One there. There's one right here. Deep, but this is soft ground.
What'd you find, man?
Oh, we don't know. That's interesting. They're like
Big
soft, but these are deep.
Yeah, but like
moly.
even my knee,
Shit.
my knee is like an inch in the ground right now. So if something was 800 pounds, it would sink that far.
Yeah, because it's soft.
Something that's pretty
It's soft. Like I'm just barely standing. You know, I mean,
Does
I'm
that
not.
look like a human foot to me, though?
It's too big. No, nobody would sink that far.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would think that far either. I mean,
It's fucking
Even if
crazy.
you were
There's two
300
of them
pounds.
right here.
There's two right here, and there's two right here, and they look about the same space.
Oh, my
That's-
camera battery's gonna die.
That's
I'm
crazy.
gonna have to switch to my iPhone.
yeah, because he's pretty soft. So, but that would take weight to get down in that deep. I mean, I'm not thinking that much.
Let me see. I'm 200 pounds. That's a stick. So if I was running, that's about as much of an indent as I could put
And that's still like
in the
a
ground.
quarter.
And that's a quarter
I'd say it's like a quarter of the way.
of the way down.
The thing is that those are longer unless something slid.
Right,
These
but
are-
even then,
These are more.
it doesn't look to me like it's a bear track or anything like that. It could be water, but
Because these are more. That one's more that
yeah, I
shape.
see. But there's imprints all over this.
Yeah.
It's definitely weird.
Very interesting.
Buddy, let me see that for a second.
Because that looks, you know.
Well, these look like they're coming this way.
Yeah.
These almost look like they're
Thank you,
coming
sir.
back out. This looks like right foot, maybe. But
Maybe another. These are holes, more like round.
weird. It doesn't look like a deer track or a moose track.
That
That's like a
moss ant
down.
that's right in the center of that track, right?
Yeah.
Does that look like where there was a break, or did that look like it just got tossed in there?
Probably got pushed down.
Pushed down.
Yeah.
Side.
And
I had to
yet,
guess.
there's nothing that continues
The width.
on the other side of that. That one looks the most interesting to me.
Yeah, it does.
That one and that one.
These
those
two.
The rest of them look more like they go just like that straight down. There's no anything out in front of it.
Well, there definitely ain't nothing straight out that's gonna drop or drip on it.
No.
No, that's weird. Those are definitely interesting. What do those look like over there, Anthony? More of a hole?
Still a lot.
That one's shaped really weird.
That is weird.
It's like,
And I'm also looking at this like
cause it's like,
Because it's like the shape of a human foot.
this
Almost.
would be right, and that would be left,
And these look like they're coming out this way.
and they look like they're coming the other.
But this one, these look smaller than that.
Yeah.
So
But it looks like whatever it is walked. If you look
Like
at
it-
this
like
on
it
camera,
turned around, which
it's
would
a-
yeah,
explain why
looks
there's
like it turned
no.
around.
Brian.
He's long gone by now.
I can hear him.
I think. That's very odd. Really odd.
Yeah, I would say.
I'm gonna. We'll mark it, and we
Do you think these are worth casting?
I don't know. I know we don't have any casting material.
I brought casting stuff, but I don't
You'd
know.
have to go all the way back to the cars and then bring it back.
Which
Yeah,
is
I don't
it's
know
not
either.
a whole lot further, but
I mean, can you imagine the amount of plaster to fill that?
Yeah.
I was going to say these are
think we
so deep.
Yeah. I would say no. And I'm also, like Brian's not here, but you guys, you have long legs, Anthony. To come over here, it doesn't look like it's much of a stride. It looks
No.
like something just stepped
like a half
back.
stride, like a little step.
Yeah,
This would be
Because-
a long step for me, though.
right. A long step for you. Yeah, so
Let me-
Dave, get a
let me-
picture of him doing that. Because that gives us an idea of the
So the
stride.
stride.
That would be a really uncomfortable stride for any normal person.
yeah.
It's
Nobody's
very
gonna take a step that long.
Yeah.
These are very interesting tracks. The only problem is this one is so deep, it brought mud out of the hole.
Yeah.
It did.
So it's this is probably not water because the mud is on top of the leaf over there.
Yeah.
And if anything, I'd say like if this were a Bigfoot, maybe those ones, since they're straight down, maybe their foot was angled more, and since the mud is so soft, it sunk down instead of flat. You know what I mean? Like it was pointed.
And like with your stride too, a person wouldn't be able to step that long and push that much into the ground.
No way.
No, because look, his feet barely.
I would say
Make an
that's
impression.
3.5, maybe a little bit more feet.
Yeah. It's weird.
That's
so
almost a 4-foot stride.
that would be like a normal step for a Bigfoot if it was, you know.
I'd say that, definitely it can't be a person that did that.
No way. And
Absolutely not.
I can't identify any animal that would make those imprints either. The only other guess I would have would be water running through here.
Like, say that you did sink that far. The first thing you would do be like, oh, God.
Yeah, you're not going to keep
You would
walking
step
forward.
back out of it because
Yeah.
you realize that it's too soft in there, and you would back out. You
But
wouldn't keep stepping.
I couldn't see somebody
And
with a
step that
stride
far.
this long
Right,
stepping
why
and
would you
stuff.
step that far? That's
Right.
crazy.
Like even from here to the next one,
Right.
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah,
big stride.
That's almost 4 feet.
This is this would be a bit of a stretch for
A person.
a person.
Yeah, but if he was...
And you don't sink that low, Brian. Look at Ingening. He's not even sinking in. And
There's
this thing
worms in
had
there.
weight.
I'm looking.
Some of them don't look like it, but some of those two right there where he's standing look interesting.
This would be right foot right here.
Yep, and this would be a left one up here.
Maybe if it's a bear.
That's what I was thinking,
That's what
but
I'm
it
beginning
didn't.
to wonder.
It didn't really.
Is the weight is right here on a bear, on their footprint.
Right.
It's too
But then it widens out up here, so like it's the right shape, so it definitely looks strange, and it almost looks like
Jesus.
Like this one looks pretty good. This would be a good left foot. It looks like maybe the big toe would be
It
there.
would be right left. But is it a bear? I mean, it's got the width up here for a big bear.
It does, but don't you think we would
But
see
don't
the
you
other
think
feet?
The claw marks in that soft. that
Right, or
mud-
we would see the other 2 feet.
Right.
Because right now this looks like bipedal tracks.
Yeah, I agree.
Those don't look like much of anything.
Yeah. Those would be more like
Peg
bear
leg.
tracks.
You got a peg leg. No, those, you could say yes.
You could say no. Yeah. And then these 2 look like they might be a little smaller coming back out that way.
Turned around, like it went that way and then maybe turned around and came back this way.
Well, that's what makes you think somebody attempted to do what we're doing.
It's possible, but
That's an awful long step. And I said to them, if my foot sunk that deep, my first reaction would be to pull my foot out and
right.
step backwards.
Like it is kind of a big stride
I
for a
wouldn't keep
person.
going.
Unless he
Would
was
you?
like 6'5", but even then, like if this is a person, it's a pretty big person because that's a long stretch.
I can't.
But yeah, you can't say yes.
I can't say it's a Bigfoot track. I would say it's a bear track before I would say it was a Bigfoot track.
Really?
Yeah.
Possible.
A bear's main weight walking is on this bone, and it's spread out over the pads. You can see the width on both of these is like that wide. I don't see toes.
But would it have a stride that wide? Like that long? Like that's...
Hey, right, left,
Yeah, but that's...
and that could be your next right. And the way he was walking, I don't know.
I feel like a bear would be
But there's
a lot
nothing on the
wider
other side.
between steps.
Of this.
Well,
This is very
It's
questionable
fucking-
because
It is questionable.
Like Sue was saying, bears have 4, so you should technically see the back paw prints
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like I said, like they.
But the
wouldn't
odd
be-
thing of it is the dirt comes up out of here and
That's
it's up,
what
up
we
in
were
here.
I
saying.
was
The mud
talking
is
about.
on top of the leaves. But it does look like there's another one right there. It could be a bear. You never know.
These 2 holes are just about identical. apart.
Something definitely walked through here.
Oh,
but
definitely something. Got in here and come back around.
So it looked like.
1, 2, 3. Boing, 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 boing. Don't know.
it's hard to say. Yeah, we can't say yes,
You can't
but we
rule
can't
it
say
out.
no.
You can't rule
so
it out, but
definitely an interesting find.
That was a good find, Aunt. Awesome.
yeah, it was. As I was checking them same kind of spots. They're all over the place
Yeah.
over in here.
We didn't really see much else around here, but
Yeah. Well,
That's interesting.
leave it up to the people that view it. No, it's quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, right, Brian?
But I don't understand. It's like peg leg.
Yeah,
That's what I don't understand.
yeah,
Because a deer stepping in that's going to push it down, but you have to have a hoof like that on
to
it.
be able to pull the mud
But
out.
to go there and turn around and come back,
It's weird.
don't make any sense.
So that's where their encounter started.
Was
that
it right
thing
over
was
here
started
on the knoll?
bellowing and vocalizing just off to our right here on that knoll.
Huh.
And then it went down around the back of the knoll, and they were down at the bottom, just over where that little rise is, at the base of where this water creek was flowing down, and there was a little waterfall. So it came down around the backside of that knoll, and they were here, and it started bellowing and vocalizing and scared the shit out of them.
Wow.
But they couldn't see it, but it made sense because we found a deer trail that comes around the back side of that. So it was likely coming down that, which would have kept it out
It
of
was
their
on the other
line
side of the
sight.
knoll. Yeah.
And then they actually cut through the ravine back up onto the trail, and it continued and stayed on the
Kept
other side of the
following them.
ravine and then paralleled them.
That's weird.
But it was continuing to vocalize the whole time.
Yeah,
So
that's strange.
almost all the way back to the road, it followed them and paralleled them and kept vocalizing, and they were terrified.
You know, I'd say what we could probably do, if we get out at a decent time, we could probably run over to the Daisy clearing real quick and just check around the area where we found the last track before we
Yeah,
head
we
out.
should have time for that, I think.
Because that's like it's right
It
next
won't
to the
take us
road
long to
there.
get out.
So
It's like 25 after 3 now, and it won't take us long to get back to the car from here. And we can at least drive up in there and
Yep.
take a quick look around.
Over the decades, Bigfoot researchers and paranormal enthusiasts have sifted through countless accounts of strange sightings, hoping to piece together the truth behind the elusive creature that haunts the dense forests of North America. Sue and Brian Gosselin, two of the most dedicated investigators, have amassed a considerable collection of evidence, from photographs to eerie recordings and footprint casts. But perhaps no story has captivated their attention more than one that came from Camp Wakpominee, a remote Boy Scout camp located in the heart of the Hogtown wilderness. Around 20 years ago, one of the camp's counselors was getting ready for the summer season, preparing cabins and setting up the grounds. It was a quiet, solitary morning, the kind where the world feels suspended in time, with only the sounds of nature for company. He stepped out onto the front porch of one of the cabins, alone, in the eerie stillness. And that's when he saw it. Standing about 15 feet away, next to a large tree, was a creature unlike anything the counselor had ever seen. A massive, Sasquatch-like figure, towering and broad, its dark fur blending into the shadows of the forest. It stood motionless, almost as if it were aware of his presence. And in that moment, the counselor felt both a sense of awe and dread. He was frozen, unable to look away, locked in a stare with something from the depths of legend. The creature didn't move for what seemed like an eternity. Then slowly, it turned and began to walk, its heavy steps slow and deliberate, up the dirt road that led through the camp. The counselor watched, unable to comprehend what was happening. As the figure moved away from him, it didn't seem hurried. It seemed almost casual. But then, as it reached the bend in the road, the creature veered off the path and into the dense trees. In a rush of adrenaline, the counselor made a decision that would haunt him forever. He decided to follow. His heart pounded in his chest as he moved swiftly, hoping to get closer, to understand what he had just witnessed. The creature, despite its size, moved with an agility that seemed unnatural for something so massive. He reached the point where the creature had disappeared into the forest, an area where the trees grew thick and the ground was uneven. But when he got there was nothing. No sign of the creature. No footprints, no broken branches, nothing but the quiet hum of the forest around him. The counselor stood there, stunned, trying to process what had just happened. He had been only moments behind it, yet somehow, the creature had vanished without a trace. He didn't remember hearing a single sound as it moved through the woods. Not a snap of a twig, not the rustle of leaves. It was as if it had melted into the forest itself, silent, swift, and untouchable. For years, the counselor would say little about the encounter. He told some close friends, but the story was met with skepticism, as is often the case with such accounts. But the fact remained. The creature he had seen was no figment of imagination. It was real, and it had been right there, in the heart of the Hogtown wilderness.
So we're going back to the spot where Anthony found that track that we cast.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, I was just looking at that, Sue.
Yeah,
That looks like a heel.
it looks like a heel.
Well, this has all been flattened down here again.
That looks like a heel. Then, which could be a boot, I guess.
Could be a person. But
Then
this is, yeah, all
over-
flattened down here. Something just
No, right here.
something else.
This was grown though when we were here. It was a
still all
lot higher.
Right here.
Ooh,
You got something, Code?
Yeah.
No shit.
yeah, look at that.
No way.
Holy cow.
Good eyes, kid.
Like heel and toe.
I even see the break in the foot.
It could be a boot, but
It could be, but
That's small, but that's much bigger.
it is.
Here.
yeah, it
That'd
could,
be a
it could be a
Bigfoot.
Don't put
boot.
your foot in it.
no, I wasn't. I was just hovering.
No.
Like
This
on
one
top.
right
Well, you
here.
gotta figure
How
that
did
these
it-
leaves of coming
There's
down.
one here,
Big
like
coming
right
down.
under me, that you can see the whole outline of the foot. And that one. I don't think it's too small to be a Bigfoot, I think. Oh, wait a minute. Yo,
Yeah.
try to put an
Careful.
indent in that.
Okay, so we stopped to look at this because it looks like a heel could be down in there, right? And then Cody says, well, what's this?
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah. Then Cody goes, what's this? So this looks
This
like
one's
the
more
heel,
shallow than.
right? It's interesting. I don't think that's more interesting than that.
Oh, there's deer shit right
'Cause
here.
that would be small.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
one.
This is definitely a bedding area for something.
He's 18 inches. I can't feel
You can't feel toes,
Toes.
though.
can't feel toes. It's just perfectly.
Well, that would be
round.
like a size 15 boot, so I don't know if anybody has a foot that big.
But I mean, there's some weight. Some
I was
weight
going to
behind
say there's
it,
some
so-
fucking weight to
Yeah,
it.
because you can't, like Joe is doing this.
I was
like you
trying
can't
to,
even,
the ground is just ridiculously hard.
I think that's really interesting.
It is.
It is to an extent. Huh?
I find this wild though, Brian, that it's in the same area,
area.
that
Yeah,
track was in.
Yeah.
The next stop on the road to Hogtown Wilderness is the Beaver Pond, a place of quiet solitude that's become infamous among those who ventured into this wild, untamed stretch of forest. It was here that a member of Sue and Brian Gosselin's research team, along with her brother, decided to try something that they had done before: call blasting. Call blasting is a technique used by Bigfoot researchers to elicit a response from the elusive creatures they believe inhabit these woods. They played a recording of a Bigfoot call into the still air, hoping for an answer. At first, the response was distant, a call deep in the forest across the pond. The hairs on the back of their necks stood up as they listened, their minds racing. It was unmistakable. A Bigfoot call, a wild, primal sound coming from the thick trees. The moment was unsettling, but then, just as they were processing the first call, they heard something else. A call coming from behind them. Across the road. It was sharp, echoing through the woods from an area that felt too close. The response came with a sense of urgency, a tone that felt as if it was directed at them. They looked at each other, wide-eyed. The calls, they realized, weren't random. They were just answering one another. They seemed to be communicating. Each call felt like it was part of a conversation, an exchange of messages from one creature to another. The call across the road was growing louder, more insistent, and the one from across the pond had begun to fade, as if the one behind them was moving closer. With every passing moment, the calls seemed to get closer. The air around them grew tense. What had started as an eerie but curious encounter now felt like something more, something dangerous. The sound of the call behind them, closer now, louder, sharper, sounded angry, hostile even. The researcher and her brother stood frozen for a moment, unsure of what to do. The forest around them had become a trap, the calls growing more insistent, as if whatever was making them was closing in. It was then, with the sounds of something moving through the trees, that they couldn't stand it any longer. The tension, the primal sense of threat, was too much. They ran to the car, jumped in and sped off, the engine roaring to life, the sound of the call fading as they distanced themselves from the pond. But the feeling didn't leave them. It lingered, heavy and oppressive. She said the tone of the creature, the one that had been calling from behind them, sounded unmistakably angry, and that's something that stays with you. Sue and Brian have always been wary of call blasting. There's something about sending a call out into the unknown, about inviting a response from something we don't understand, that raises concerns. The danger of sharing messages with creatures we know little about is real. Sometimes, when we make contact with the unknown, it's not always a conversation we want to have. And as much as we try to communicate with these mysterious beings, we can never be certain of the messages we're sending or receiving in return.
Which way they headed?
I don't know. I think they're still standing over there.
I'm just trying to get a feeling. Hell, you don't realize how big the woods are until you fucking get in them.
And this goes on for fucking hundreds of thousands of acres or miles.
Oh yeah.
You know, just the Adirondack Park alone is 6.5 million acres. Just
something like that. Yeah.
Crazy.
Nope, that's not.
No, I see Sue over there. Little green thing floating through the trees.
No, we're just up past the campsite. Oh, they're just lining it up, I guess, that twisted tree where it snapped over.
Yeah. Yeah, it was only, I think, less than 100 yards away.
Oh, shit, it was not over that far.
So, it's definitely strange, Brian.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of trees that are bent over here, too. There's one right there and one
Yeah,
right
you
here.
get a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a spot up on Hudson where it's a deep fucking ravine. I mean, on the right-hand side is probably 75 feet from the top to the bottom. And it's a brook runs down through. There's that soft mud on both sides. I walked that for shit, 3/4 of a mile. Deer tracks, bear tracks, coyote, coon. That's a good spot up there too.
Yeah.
But that's where we found a handprint
On a tree.
where it was. Well, the bank was a sandbank. I went down over the fucker like this, and there was some dead wood down in here. And I got down there and looked up and said, holy fuck, there was a handprint. Like the thing had
Rested for a
one of
second.
these, and fuck, the hand was like this.
Wow. You know,
We had a picture of it. It didn't come out very fucking well. But
Joey just found something out cool with the thermal gun, too. Like, if you put your hand on something, leave it there for a while and
yeah,
take
leave
it away,
it. It's an aura.
you could see it for like up to an hour. And it
Really?
starts to fade away.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I don't know what the hell she plans on doing. I've never been up in this.
No, I think we more or less just wanted to come back and check it out, see if anything new was here or not. But
That thing right there is just, there's no toes. And they definitely would be toes of some kind. It's,
Yeah.
it's perfectly round like the front of a boot.
well,
Like
yeah,
the front of one of
definitely a
these.
couple weird ones.
But
I can't say yes, can't say no.
It's awful fucking heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think we just wanted to come back up quick and see if anything new happened down in that meadow. And who's to say
Well,
those other tracks we found could have been there
Yeah.
from last time. But it definitely looks like there's a lot of deer bedding in that field there.
Yeah.
So,
You digging for grubs?
yeah, I'm hungry. No, I think it's a bear.
They're full of protein.
Bear track, I think. Something. This looks like it got pushed up here.
Oh yeah, I see it's small, but it's just small bear by the looks of it. 'Cause it's only,
But I don't
know.
I don't see claw marks, so
No, there should
maybe
be.
big bobcat maybe?
It could be a bobcat. Yep. I didn't even spot that. See, it's hard now with all these leaves that have come
I
down
know,
just in the
it's-
last week.
It's hard unless you dig something up, you know, and well, good day today, Brian.
Yeah,
Nice day for
we
little
all got our exercise today.
Yeah, that's for sure.
A lot of cool shit, man. A lot of cool stuff today we found. Interesting. I don't know if it's 100% evidence. Brian looked at it too. He's not really sure. Some of this stuff out here could be hit or miss, and that's just the way it goes. But we're out here really trying to see if maybe we can hit it today. This is our last Bigfoot investigation of the season, because obviously it's going to be getting really cold out. I had a great time with my son today. Come here. Come on camera with me.
What?
Come say hello to our viewers.
Hello. Hello.
This is my son Cody, and you guys.
I don't know where I'm looking.
You're looking in the camera.
I was looking there.
Don't look there.
Look there.
Look there.
Yeah. Hello.
We want to take a minute to thank all of our fans who supported us along our journeys this season. From delving into Sasquatch, investigating alleged portals and UAPs, to our paranormal investigations. We did a lot of traveling this year, and we hope you enjoyed the content we put out. We were grateful to be a part of Whitehall's annual Bigfoot Festival this year, where we shared some of our findings, met many new friends, and enjoyed the Sasquatch calling contest. Next season, we have quite the array of adventures planned. We have some crazy paranormal locations lined up, a plethora of new cryptid sightings to investigate, and even an urban legend of an abandoned government bunker in the Adirondacks. I know that sounds kind of wild, but stay tuned for more on that.